This is Pete Feenstra on Sunday the 29th of September, talking to Testament guitarist, sometime jazz guitarist, author, all-round Renaissance man, Mr. Alex, how do you pronounce your second name?
Skolnick.
Skolnick. Is that a Polish name?
It has Polish and Russian roots.
Great, man. And your guitar heritage is going to go to all those places, I'm sure, if it isn't already there.
Yeah.
I want to start off with a quote from me. This is for GetReadyToRock.com, ladies and gentlemen. That being the case, let's give you the quote. The original Black Sabbath launched heavy metal with a purpose beyond that of entertainment, to shine a light on the gritty aspects of our modern world. I mean, do you think that purpose is still possible in today's corporate world?
Oh, more than ever. Well, the purpose, it's needed.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
More than ever. Because even though we grow up with groups, shock rock. So Black Sabbath is considered a form of shock rock, even though
at the
shock
time,
rock, it brings to mind Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson before, but it was very shocking and
it was different. It was new.
Yeah,
but it was the genesis of heavy metal, I guess.
And I think nowadays it's just gotten so diluted. What is shocking anymore? You know, now Miley Cyrus twerking is considered shocking. Yet it was, that whole thing was, first of all, it has nothing to do with good music. Black Sabbath is great music, and corporations are behind it. Viacom is behind the whole thing. They're loving it
without doubt.
So I think one of the great things that about Black Sabbath and groups like that, and the whole movement inspired independent thinking.
Yeah, and that's what you are, an independent thinker.
They're very rare these days.
And that being the case, when you started out at a very early age, we'll talk about your background and everything with the book, if I may. But,
sure, absolutely.
But it does strike me as strange that somebody who's a very independent thinker and has expressed that in both music and print, that you ended up in heavy metal, which is after all an orthodoxy. And thrash metal even more so, probably. I mean, did you ever get any, did you ever have to prove anything to metalheads out there that you were standing aside from what they would consider to be the norm?
Yes, at very different points. I started very young. I was 16 when I joined the band.
Wow.
I was born in 1968.
Legacy that became Testament. Yeah.
Right, and on September 29th, I should point out, which is today.
So it is.
Yeah. And I think at the time I was so young, and I just needed to be in a band.
Yeah.
I needed to
express yourself.
I needed to express myself. Childhood and adolescence, it was not working out for me. I didn't. I didn't like. Just nothing made sense. I didn't relate to school. I didn't relate to my neighborhood. I didn't relate to my peers. Music was the only thing that made sense, and there was this opening in the band Testament, and a friend of a friend knew that and recommended me. And
but you were already playing metal at that point. You'd already discovered.
I was playing metal like Ozzy Osbourne and UFO.
Wow.
And the Scorpions. I was playing that kind of metal.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing. I was listening to thrash metal. Or what would be considered the roots
thrash metal,
of thrash metal. I think the roots of thrash metal are actually British.
You do?
Well, Motorhead. Venom.
Yeah, Venom.
I mean, Venom, I guess,
Castle,
started black metal, but at the time, every thrash band or every thrash fan listened to them. Also, the German band Accept had a great song called Fast as a Shark.
That's right.
It was really the only song I think they ever did that's considered thrash, but everybody listened to that song. So the only reason I hadn't set out to play that music originally was it had this garage rock quality to it, which is nothing against it, but I was more interested in Ozzy's guitarist, Randy Rhoads,
Yeah.
and his biggest influence, Eddie Van Halen.
And years later, of course, you replaced Randy.
Very briefly, yes.
Yeah, that must have been a trip.
Yeah, that was a whole story.
Wow.
Sort of.
So, to get on track with what you're doing tonight at the Jazz Cafe, you've got your jazz trio.
Yeah.
Is it generally the case in the shows that you've done so far and in the albums that you've sold that you've been able to pull over rock fans and metal fans over to what you're doing in this trio format?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
One of the
guitar heads and stuff like that.
Well, one of the great things about it is, I'll see these guys out there that would be right in place with the Testament show.
Yeah. Wow.
Yet
and it's
they're with a wife or girlfriend
yeah.
that would not accompany them
Wow.
to a Testament show. Here they can sit, they can have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's a different experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience for everybody. Because a lot of people. First of all, there aren't. When we were playing thrash metal, back when I first started, there weren't many girls in the scene.
No, it's all guys.
It was not Motley Crue or even In Excess. There were very few girls, and nowadays, there are a lot of metalheads that have non-metal spouses or
they're all
related, and this is something where they actually can bring them.
Was Veritas the album where you really found your feet in terms of songwriting in this genre?
I think so. Veritas was the first album where I felt like there was no shortage of material.
Yeah.
I didn't need to look for extra covers to arrange. And I loved arranging the covers. In fact, the covers are practically originals compared to...
Well, you made your name doing that to some people who haven't seen you before, of course. It was a good crossover.
Yeah, and I initially did that for a number of reasons.
Right.
I ended up moving to New York in the late 90s.
Just specifically to play jazz?
Yeah, to start over and to play jazz.
Yeah.
I thought my big passions at the time were jazz and literature. Yeah. So I thought, all right, either I will...
but you actually connected the two more recently.
I did, and that happened organically.
Ah.
One of the great things about this trio is that it was not planned.
No. Okay.
I did have other groups that I planned.
Yeah.
That just didn't work out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And the trio was really this accidental thing that just felt great. And it was the first time that I saw something that just happened organically.
Yeah.
I decided to put my energy into it. And writing too. And I always
Which
knew
is really developed, yeah.
Yeah, and I always knew I would write. But at the time, I think I needed to be away from the rock and roll world.
Okay. And thinking about...
I love it, but it's a little bit...
I'm thinking about that.
Limiting.
When you originally left Testament, I think it was widely considered that you'd kind of almost outgrown the band. I mean, you as an individual had kind of grown. Your playing was phenomenal. Everybody recognised you for what you were. How did it feel to go back with the resurrection, as it were, of Testament? How did it feel to go back in that situation? Slightly different lineup, of course.
Yeah, I think that was, in a way, there was a similarity between how the trio came about. In that was not planned.
Again, another one.
You know what I mean? I was living in New York. I was doing the trio. I was hired by studios. I was taken on tour by various musicians out in various genres. Making a living, just being a professional musician, and studying creative writing. I didn't know what would happen, and then lo and behold, the band decided to get the original lineup back together just for a few shows.
And you all came together as a more mature unit, more experienced.
Yeah,
and therefore it worked better. Do you think is that the reason it's?
Oh, absolutely. And you can see we did a video live in London.
Yeah, and it broke in the UK, of course, which.
It did. It did great, and you could tell at the time we're sort of finding our ground.
Yeah. So originally.
On Live in London. We sound good, but we're still finding our. And then, a number of things happened. The demand increased. There turned out to be this whole other generation of fans that wanted the band.
Who've never seen them before.
Never seen the band.
That applies to a lot of bands, funnily enough, who hang in there, yeah.
And then, you know, the original drummer, Louis, relearned drums
So
just for that reunion.
He went up to another standard.
He hadn't played in a long time.
Right.
And it was great to play with him, but he also decided to take a backseat role and realized that if this is going to go on,
he's got to.
It's not what he wants to do with his life. So then we ended up getting these great drummers, Paul Bostaph and now Gene Hoglan, which completely re-energized the band. We put out these albums.
The last two have done really well, of course.
Yeah, and the albums got us tours with Slayer, Megadeth, Judas Priest.
So that pushed you back into that market.
Suddenly we're back. I don't know how it happened. We were resurrected, and we're about to do a tour with Lamb of God.
Wow.
And
amazing.
You couldn't plan it, but it's great now because I step into it. I do my best there, but it's not all.
So how do you reconcile the two? Like you're playing jazz tonight or crossover, and then you step into a very
one publication described it as rock infused jazz, which I like.
What the stuff you're doing in the trio?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the book because I've only got a certain amount of time, if I may.
Okay, I'll just really quickly explain it.
Yeah.
When I play with the trio, the gear is different.
Yeah.
I'm playing a large hollow body archtop guitar.
I've seen it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
My bass player plays an upright bass. The drummer plays a small kit. We're very conscious of the volume. There are moments in the show where it's silent and if somebody coughs, people shush it. And then we get loud too, but with Testament it's loud all the time.
Sure.
And it's just a different thing. And I love doing that. I love being able to play through a solid body guitar and a wall of amplifiers, and that's what I'm best known for.
Quite a discipline though to move from one to the other.
Yeah, it took years of just doing the other.
Yeah.
About a whole decade of really concentrating on it.
Let me just ask you about the book, Geek to Guitar Hero.
Okay.
You actually wrote it yourself, which no ghostwriter or anything else.
Yeah,
cathartic release, I suppose.
I thought that's how books were supposed to be written.
Yeah. In an ideal world.
I didn't get the memo otherwise.
And very, very personal, your own journey in life.
Yeah.
It's been well received, self-published.
Yeah.
Do you sell it at gigs?
I'm not selling it at these gigs but although it is available on Amazon in the UK.
Right.
It's very hard books are heavy.
Yeah, I'm with you, yeah.
With weight restrictions, it's hard enough to travel with enough of the clothes you need.
Yeah.
Let alone the music gear, let alone books. So
Did the geek part of the title refer to the fact you were writing all these guitar columns and stuff like that?
No, the geek part was my pre-performance years.
Right.
Just not knowing how to hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Not just being a portrait of low confidence and
so back then, well, let's go back to when you were 14. You were a student of Joe Satriani, of course.
Yeah.
What did he bring to your game that you didn't already have, other than obviously technique and I guess theory?
I'd never seen a serious musician.
Right.
I didn't know what they did. I'd heard about them.
And he gave you context, I guess.
He had the discipline that a strict piano teacher might have. And I talk about this in the book. He had actually studied with a piano teacher, Lenny Tristano, who's an important jazz figure in New York. And I ended up studying jazz with another one of Lenny Tristano's students named Charlie Benakos, who was a piano player. So it's an interesting thing. But before Joe Satriani, I'd never seen a really serious musician. And I talk about the Bay Area a lot. I talk about the West Coast a lot. I'm a little bit critical of it.
Yeah. The scene?
Well, not just the scene, more the work ethic.
Right.
I didn't see a work ethic, especially among music was something you did to avoid work.
And at that point, you're already thinking about work ethic.
Absolutely. But especially when I studied with Joe, because I could see that
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole other level, and just being able to play for whoever calls you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, doing what I did at Testament required a lot of technical facility, but I didn't want to just do that. What if, you know, theoretically, if Sting called, I would like to be able, I would like to not say, well, I can't. No. I just do metal.
Yeah.
You know? Most guitar players I knew at the time would not be able to do that. Unfortunately, Sting never called, but I got to the point where, like, if he had, I could have done the gig.
Is your writing a similar kind of a step forward? You want to get to the next level of that as well?
Well,
you've achieved so much with the guitar playing and everything else, and now you found it. And you're also a blogger, of course.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very interesting blog. It's not just the usual stuff. Something you felt you had to do, and
that just happened. Yeah, it happened on its own. That happened from reading. And
great way to connect with your fans, though, and people interested in what you're doing. And
it works really well, and I think it's brought a lot of people that don't even know me for music. There's people that have just discovered me through the blog. So a few of the posts have gotten a lot of circulation. Some of them are quite controversial, which is interesting because
blogs should be, I guess.
I'm somebody that, you know, I generally avoid confrontation.
Right.
I want to get along with everybody.
Yeah.
It's been a problem over the years because I give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I think everybody's well intentioned. You know, but with this blog, I'm able to really just say how I really feel. It may
be another way forward in which to cross over your guitar playing from the metalheads to the jazz people, because you've already explained you got rock fans turning out with their wives, girlfriends, partners, whatever they are now. But you know, it'd be more interesting to see if you can get some more jazz people into what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Who probably wouldn't even know about the other stuff, I guess.
That's true as well. I feel like there's so much more that people can be open to, and I just want to share the discoveries I've had, whether it's writing, whether it's improvisation, or heavy metal.
Well, it's been an absolute blast. You're going to give us a little flurry on the old guitar before we finish?
Oh, sure.
It'll be absolutely fantastic. So get ready to rock.com exclusive, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I have the electric here.
Yeah.
So it's set up for rock, so.
Got
it. So I'll do a little bit.
That's how it's done. That is how it's done. It's been Pete Feenstra, enjoying it immensely with Alex Skolnick. Get ready to rock.com with Stu Day on the camera. Thank you very much and good evening.